So here's why self-improvement content is basically brain rot these days. Let's go to the whiteboard. Okay, so yesterday I posted this video. It's basically this really good video about how to beat procrastination. It talks about some very interesting methods in there that most videos don't really talk about. I'd really recommend you watching it if you haven't yet. But after I posted this video yesterday, I was looking at other procrastination videos on YouTube because I was like, okay, I've seen some videos like how to beat procrastination. What kind of techniques do they recommend and how do they compare to what I talked about in this video? And so I went on YouTube, and I'm not going to like point out the channels that we found, but basically I watched like a few videos, and all of them just basically had these three pieces of advice: the 2-minute rule, the idea of eating the frog, and building momentum. I'm not going to go into what these actually mean because you can just basically find out if you just search like literally any video about how to beat procrastination. But these are like multiple videos, like 3 or 4 videos, and literally the only advice I got from them boiled down to these 3 methods. So it's like, probably over 10 minutes of YouTube content, maybe even more than that, maybe even like 20 minutes. And all that was said in it was these 3 methods that I didn't even need to watch these videos to get. So I want you to think of brain rot real quick. Okay, that's kind of a wild transition. But so let's think about brain rot. So people, they go on their phones, like with this stick figure person, and they just watch this kind of brain rot nonsense content for hours. Now, you may be thinking of stuff like, this guy, the Skibbity toilet, but really, I'd argue brain rot can be basically anything that's just a waste of your time. Like, I'd argue maybe 90% of the content you see on stuff like Instagram and TikTok could be considered brain rot. You usually probably don't think that self-improvement content is brain rot, but as I just explained to you, you could just learn these 3 methods, and if you do, basically all other self-improvement content you consume with these 3 methods is just brain rot, because it's just pointless. It's just nonsense. It's no better than watching videos of this because both have no value to your life. Both don't help you at all. And so it's all just brain rot. Now, I know you just got the payoff for the video, but don't click off yet because I'm going to actually explain how to beat this, how to solve this massive problem. So let's look at this graph real quick. I think this is a very useful graph, probably one of my best graphs. So all the new information you consume, the value you gain from it, it goes down extremely quickly. Like this may be one piece of content like here, like this may be one piece of content here in this element of the graph. And like you can see how quickly it goes down. And then you reach this thing which I call the brain rot point, where basically it's the point at which there's basically no real value in consuming any more content. So for example, if you were to gain this information about procrastination, the 2-minute rule, eat the frog, and building momentum, you'd basically be at the brain rot point because any more content you consume is basically a waste of time since you already know how to beat procrastination. You already know these 3 methods that are proven to work. I've used all 3 of these methods and they all definitely work for beating procrastination. So everything else is just kind of pointless at that point. It's just a waste of time. So obviously the solution to this is you don't need more information. You need more execution. Now, don't think that like information is completely pointless. Like there was a huge amount of value in gaining more information up in this part of the graph up here. But once you reach the brain rot point, you don't need more information. The only thing you need is more execution. And this is where so many people get it wrong. And this is one point that's made in this great book, The 12-Week Year, probably the best book I've read this entire year, because it's just this exact lesson. It talks about how people, they know how to do all the stuff they want to do. They know how to make money. They know how to lose weight. They know how to, become more social, but they just don't act on it. So, and then they think that the problem is information. They think that they just need like some new, solution on the internet that this next self-improvement video will teach you, or this next book will teach you. But really all they need is just execution on the stuff that they already know. But the solution I'm going to give is not just, execute more. It's a little bit more specific than that. So let's look at like this, like, let me just hammer home this point a little bit more. So here's the amount of value that you're getting from a lot of this self-improvement content. A lot of the self-improvement content is actually like really good. Like it is genuinely made by people who know what they're talking about, who have studied this stuff, who understand it. But the problem is you may be gaining like 100% value of the content, but most people only execute maybe at most 25%. I know that sounds extremely small, but if you really think about it, how many times have people watched videos? How many times have people watched lectures, read books, and they just don't execute on a single thing that it says in that entire book? So this may even be, a large estimate. It may be more like 10% because people execute so little if you really think about it. So what I'd recommend is only consume one piece of content or just consume one program or one book and just immediately try to get as close as you can to 100% execution of it. not just this 25%, but all the way to 100%. And you will fail. Like, it's almost impossible to get to 100% execution of anything you learn. But at least you'll be much better off than the person who only executed at most 25% of the information. Imagine how much farther you could be if you just consumed a piece of content and you literally executed it perfectly. You did 100% of what the video told you to do. So obviously at this point, it would be good to tell you what kind of content you should be consuming. And so this video would not be complete without some self-promotion of my own content. So I know seemed kind of cringe, but I do have a free program on literally how to beat procrastination. It goes extremely in depth, and I guarantee it's really the only kind of procrastination course you need. It's all about how to gamify activities so you can enjoy them literally as much as video games to basically eliminate procrastination in its entirety. Definitely check it out. It's completely free to join right now, and I guarantee this could be your one piece of content that you can take immediate action on. Hope this video gave you some value. If you're interested in that video about how to beat procrastination that I talked about at the beginning of this video, it's on the screen right now. This is Jimmy, signing off.